All right, so mechanic Steve and I are gonna go work on the old John Deere Model A and see what happens. Mechanic Steve was like, hey, Chucky, you think you can stop by and mow this land around my property? And it's like, I could, but you know, it'd be really fun is if we did it with the old tractor. And I've had this thing since last August. I bought it for next to nothing, and I haven't touched it since, other than I shoved it like another 10 feet backwards with the tractor when I was moving stuff around once.
What this really is I asked Chucky to come mow the property instead of using his brand new Kubota that runs and dries. You can just go get it taken care of. He's like, why don't you come over and help me get it running first?
Yeah, it can be the kind of deal where everybody wins. So the deal with this is a late model John Deere A. It's the last year or the last 2 years that they made them. I don't really remember, but I bought it from a really nice older gentleman. He had this thing, he used it regularly for like 20 years or 30 years or something. He was probably in his 70s, I'm gonna guess 80s maybe. And according to him, the starter on it went out, and he decided he'd had enough of jacking with it, and he went and bought a brand new John Deere. So we used the new one to load this one, and I believe him because when we went to start it, the engine would spin a little bit, but the starter makes a horrendous noise, just like grrr. So I got a starter rebuild kit. So these are a very strange design. I've never worked on them. I think that unlike the Alice Chalmers, where everything is a strange design, everything on this is a strange design, but I think it's a good design. I think it's, I don't know, I shouldn't say too much before we get going, but yeah, so giant 4.9 liter, I think, or like 4.3 liter 2-cylinder engine, just boom, 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 just like that.
Do that again.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
We gotta replicate both cylinders, or else the people at home, they don't know what they're looking at. So and what is this, a 6-speed transmission for the time? That's yeah, I think it's a 6-speed.
Yeah, give or take 3.
for the time, like 1952, 53, that was actually really advanced in a tractor. Hand clutch instead of a foot clutch. Weird machine, but we're gonna see if it runs.
Yeah, but we're gonna blow it up trying.
That's my plan. Let's do it. So we got this thing in here, luckily without damage, and now we kind of have to divide up the tasks of what needs to be done with this. I'm going to work on the starter, which I believe should be somewhere around the flywheel, which should be behind this thing, and Mechanic Steve is going to
What?
all right, well, other than that, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna huff some paint.
All right, so we've been working on this. We got a battery thrown in here, which hopefully has some charge in it. We ran some gas through the cardboard eater. Don't know if that's gonna work out or not. Mechanic Steve got the starter on this thing back together. And
Freshly rebuilt with new brushes.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a switch for the starter. The rebuild kit didn't come with any of the parts for the switch. So if the switch on a starter is bad, then...
Yeah. But that's cheap to replace.
Yeah, and it didn't look bad, you know. I mean, the contacts look like it has a little bit of wear on them, but I think it'll be fine.
All right, we'll see if this is going to be like the backhoe, where it only starts for Mechanic Steve, or if it's like the Case 930, where it actually likes to be. Whoa! All right, hey, don't we need choke?
I think this is a choke, isn't it?
No, it's that. Well, I mean, all right. So the top one, it seems to be throttle. The top one moves this horizontal rod.
And the bottom is the vents.
Yeah. What? Hey, what? Well, shoot. Yeah, this is the choke. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but it is on this one. Lucky starts going outside. It's like it's not getting spark.
It's definitely getting gas.
Yeah, all right, well.
We had the same problem that one at the museum, though.
Yeah?
It just didn't want to start, didn't want to start. I mean, it smells a lot of fuel coming through this thing.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to do?
Oh, you never hooked this up, Chucky.
Oh! 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 This is what happens when you're fixing tractors at 10:30 at night. You forget to hook up the alligator clip for the ignition.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Did we cook the battery?
No, I think that's a starter issue.
Uh-oh.
I think our starter's toast.
Oh no.
Weird. It's professionally rebuilt.
You think it's just that switch?
Probably.
I don't know, this cable setup I have here is pretty jankety. I just threw that together with stuff here.
I think it's a switch.
How could it be working fine 1 minute and now it's not?
Because those contacts where it was worn down, one side it heats up, and now that it's heated up, it either melted or it carboned up.
Dang it. Well, maybe if we give it a minute or 3 to cool down. One of my least favorite things about old equipment is that this was made in the days before starter solenoids. So you've got these giant mechanical contacts, and just like carburetors, they're pretty much nothing but problems.
Yep. Yeah, you could, I don't know if there's a starter available for these that will bolt right in and then you can run a starter relay, you know, up inside the battery box. There probably is. I mean, they look like a regular nose cone on a starter, an industrial type starter, so could be an option. Or you can buy that switch. Like my suggestion if you have to order anything is try to find out if there's another starter available in a relay, because then you won't have this problem. And that starter's a pain in the butt to take in and out on this thing, so you don't want to do it more often than not.
Yeah.
But I bet you that switch inside is carboned up.
Ah, shoot. I don't know whether it's forwards or back that disengages the clutch. That I cannot remember.
I think back is what
engages. I think back is engaged. I don't actually know. We're gonna find out. All right, so today we can see the GoPro in its natural habitat with a dead battery and thus connected to this cord. Why? Because maximum portability. And anyway, Mechanic Steve seems to think that we had the spark plug wires correct on the first try, so we're gonna stick them back the way they were. And he thinks when it fired that one time, it knocked a bunch of debris loose inside the engine, like soot and sediment from sitting, and it closed up the gaps on the spark plugs. So there's like chunks of stuff between, you know, where the spark is supposed to go. So yeah, we're moving right along here. Well, really, no we aren't, but there seems to be some form of progress. What do you think, Mechanic Steve?
Yeah, I think what happened was the very first time we pulled it and we got it to pop, a whole bunch of crap got knocked loose, and it got stuck in the in between the gap, because I pulled both spark plugs out. When I pulled both of them out, both of them had little chunks of crap in between the electrode and the ground strap.
Yeah, now we're dealing with these absolutely awful spark plug wires that the ends always fall off of. I'm telling you, I don't have much love for gas tractors, but you know, it's antique stuff, so it's just the way it is. Die, fire ant. It's well after 11. We've decided we're gonna give this thing one last go. We'll see if Mechanic Steve can make it work.
And apparently Chucky has to sleep. I don't get it. Mechanic Steve don't sleep.
Mechanic Steve just runs off a Red Bull and exhaust fumes. All right, are you ready?
I guess.
Okay. Well, what do you think?
Smells like it's flooded. I think we have this carburation issue for one. We're not getting the right mix into it. I bet you if you pull the spark plugs back out, they're going to be covered. They're going to be wet and they're going to be covered with crap again. It didn't, like the very first time we tried this, it popped a couple of times like it wanted to start, and then nothing after that so I can hear it. I can hear the spark. I know we got spark. I don't know if we got spark to the actual spark plugs themselves, because I'm not going to walk next to it while it's trying to fire, but I think we have like an air fuel mixture problem where it's flooding, and we got to let it clear out, and then probably pull that carburetor apart and replace that seat in it. We have a rebuild kit for the carburetor, but we didn't pull the carburetor completely apart and put new parts in it because we just ran out of time and we wanted to see if it'll work.
Carburetors, the most maddening things in the world when they don't work, and the most lackluster and finicky when they do. This is why I like my diesel tractors. Anyway, big thanks to Mechanic Steve for attempting this, and I'm gonna put it out of the way and I guess try to find some time to jack with the carburetor, because rule number one of old tractors is if they have carburetors, they will be having carburetor problems pretty much perpetually. I'd say I'm surprised by this, but not at all. Anyway, thanks for watching. It was fun to attempt. We'll give it another go. We'll see what happens.